Yo, what's good, guys? Your boy Storm back with a video today, and I'll be going over a guide for Shoot Style Deku. Now, this character has changed a lot from OJ2. He has some new loops, some pretty cool combos, and I'm just gonna do a quick breakdown on all the things you need to know for Shoot Style Deku. Now, before I start, if you would like to see more content like this, please consider hyping, liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. It really helps you guys. Now, let's hop right into it. So, Shoot Style Deku is an interesting character. He has some very good tools in his kit in this game, and he hasn't really changed too much from OJ2 when it comes to his base kit. Now, starting off, this is his typical target combo. That's just pressing square 3 times. This is his quirk skill 1. It leaves them in kind of like a suspended animation. Usually, if you were to use this combo while like you're in the air, it'll like cause a hard knockdown, causing them to pop up in the air, and you can like follow up on whichever direction you choose to like tech from. His quirk skill 2 is a multi-kicking attack. Comes out decently fast. I would suggest that you use this in like scrambles. Let's say like the your opponent is just standing there blocking or something, and you see them like sidestep. This comes out extremely fast. Quirk skill 2 is one of the best neutral tools that Shoot Style Deku has because of its general speed. And of course, you guys know, as long as you get a hit in this game, you can always switch and do something crazy. Now, his quirk skill 4 is him sliding and kicking up. This is also good for chasing down someone. Let's say another situation where you see your opponent like dashing to the side, or you see them generally moving around. You can always just throw this out, and it's a very good option to just throw out in the neutral. It is also a good option if you just want to throw it out, switch to another character, and then go for a grab. So, for example, if I were to set the opponent to guard, right? And I do that same setup that I just did, you can always go for a grab. Now, Rapper has something similar, but that'll be in the Rapper guide. Now, for Shoot Style Deku, if you do this quirk skill and I go for a grab, they have to take that block pressure while they're being hit by the sliding kicks. And that's very good for, again, like I said, neutral, and also just catching your opponent. It's very good for those kind of neutral interactions. Moving on to Deku's counter attack, his R1 triangle has him jump up in the air and fall down with like an axle kick. This attack is very good because not only can it catch characters in the air, but you see that suspended animation that it has them in. He can combo after this and go into something like the sliding kick attack. He could even go into something like this, into his quirk skill 2, or even into his quirk skill 1. So he has a lot of different options on what he wants to do with this. He can even go into his quirk skill 4. Just, a lot of freedom with this, and it's very good to also have this in his repertoire because this character is a combo monster. And a good example of that is, I'm going to show you guys a loop that I found with him. If you do 2 hits with your target combos, you can continue looping them. Now, it drops on the 4th one, so you have to be careful. Only go for 3, and you can continue to do this and get a lot of cool things off of this. Now, let me show you a typical BnB that I found for this character. You would do this about 3 times. Go to something like this. That's just some really good damage that you can get with this character. Now, hitting the loop isn't too hard. You could even tag into your assist and start the loop. So you can probably do something like this. This is usually what I like to do. You pick a character who has multi-hitting attacks, and then you can easily go into the infinite, go into something like this. And what is that? That's 1400 damage. Very good damage that this Deku can do, and it's not costing him any meter. So again, you can always go directly into a super from something like this as well, right? You do 1, 2, 1, 2, you finish it out. You could even go into the slide after. 2 kicks into the super. And as always, you could always switch to different assists and things like that to increase the amount of damage that you're doing. But as you can see, just Deku alone will be doing, how much is this? 1700 damage with only 1 bar spent. Very good damage, about half a bar taken with just Deku doing his damage alone. So I'm not gonna lie, your typical BnB will always kind of revolve around this loop. Characters with loops in this game definitely benefit from the combos in this. Like, I would say, like, because combos have been neutered in this game, coming from OJ2 to all just this, it's kind of like characters with loops really benefit. Like there's some characters who can't even get this kind of damage. Like it's crazy, and all you're doing is pressing 2 buttons. It's not too hard at all to do. His last quirk is quirk skill 3. He has 2 versions of this. He has the charge one where he throws multiple rocks, and then he has the one where he can just throw one. This really isn't the best projectile because it doesn't really track, it doesn't really go too far, but it does kind of cover a good amount of distance. So if your opponent is in the air somewhere, like floating in that general vicinity of like around here, and someone throws this out at you, you can't hit them. The regular version of it comes out faster, but again, it's only 1, so this isn't really too good. I mean, I can see maybe like someone throwing this out and then going for like a switch, you know, something like that for like some type of projectile pressure. But I wouldn't really suggest just using this one in the middle of a combo, but also in your neutral. It's not really worth it. Now Deku's unblockable attack comes out pretty fast, but it doesn't have much range on it. So if you're not right up on your opponent, he isn't really gonna go too far. As you can see, he doesn't really travel too far, but when I say he's about this distance, he will kind of move up closer to his opponent and still kick them. So he kind of does have like a magnet effect with that. And again, you can combo after it and go right into the loops. You know, these loops are insane to go for. So, you know, you can always start off with an unblockable and get those loops damage off. Now, loops aside, this Deku does have a lot of combo freedom. He has a lot of skills that kind of link into each other for easy damage. As you can see, I did a pretty regular combo there. Target combo into armored move into quirk skill 4, quirk skill 2, and this did what, 1100 damage. I mean, that's not even too far off from his optimal BnB. So this character can really freestyle in what he wants to do. This combo freedom also extends to whenever he wants to do a super. Almost anything he does goes directly into a super. So there's a lot of freedom that this character has when it comes to just connecting into his high damaging super. He can even knock characters into the wall, and this will connect here. So usually after this 3rd hit, if you're like in the middle of the screen, that usually would not connect them into the super. So other than that, almost everything he does will go directly into his plus ultra. Now moving on to Deku's rising, he gets a few new things. He's now able to easily cancel into things that he couldn't do before. So a good example of this is his target combo in the air usually isn't something that you can combo into, but if you do your target combo and go into any of your quirk skills, they start to connect after that. Now, as you can see now too, his quirk skill 2 is now a multi-hitting kick. It goes for not 3 hits, but now 5. And during this whole point of him doing this, he can switch into quirk skill 4 or any of his other quirks. He also gets the benefit of his rising action. Now, his rising action is a generic one. It's the zigzag one that has the your character fly towards the opponent and hit them with an attack. The cool thing though about this, because Deku can now easily cancel into things, he can now go into his combos directly from his rising action, which isn't something that every other character has. A lot of characters who have the zigzag motion cannot continue combos. So now you can do your zigzag motion, go in, let the actual attack go through, and be able to connect the combo after, which is very good. And again, all your combos go into super. So if you really wanted to do something like this, you could always do it and it'll work. So very cool changes into rising. I do think that this character has a strong rising mode. Now, one thing I will say is his BnBs don't really change. The only thing that really changes for him is the loop, the infinite loop that I've mentioned before. You can only loop it 2 times. So right here, if I try for a 3rd, it will not connect. Sometimes you can get the 3rd hit to actually go through, but the 2nd one will not. So I can do it again just to show you guys that this doesn't work. You see the 2nd hit doesn't go. So I would suggest only doing 2, you know, and then you can go into the typical that I've mentioned before. The only thing too here is that because you do more hits, the combo might drop a little bit earlier. As you can see, you still get 1200 damage. The last 2 changes to his rising mode will be his quirk skill 3. It's always the charge version, so you can now throw multiple of these whenever you want. So he actually has a decent projectile that he doesn't have to charge anymore in rising, which is pretty good for him if he's going against an opponent who's zoning or he's trying to catch someone who's jumping away. The second thing is his quirk skill 2 now pops them up in the air for a combo. So now this usually would cause a hard knockdown, but now, you know, he pops them up. So that is pretty cool. He has that option to continue combos. Now, the final thing I want to mention for Style Deku is his assist synergy. Now, I think this character has some of the best assist synergy in the game. The reason why is because a lot of his attacks leave the opponent kind of like in his suspended state. Not only does his counter attack leave them, you see how long it's popping them up in the air. That's giving them a lot of time for your teammates to come in and do whatever they want. So I can do something like this, switch into Mirio, and look how long he's up in the air for. I could jump up and attack. I can wait for the character to fall down so that I can get like an optimal ground BnB with Mirio. Like, for example, you can do something like this. Now they popped up in the air, and I can just wait. And this will be like a typical BnB, right? You can do something like that. What I mean by that is if you do something like this, right, you can go to the counter attack. This leaves a lot of time for Mirio to follow up, and I can get a lot of like good damage with that. A lot of characters' strongest combos start with ground starters. So, for example, Deku just can set up a lot of characters by doing just something like that. Or again, he can always do that after doing the infinite, right? So you do 2, 2, you go into that, and that leaves a lot of time for your assist to come in and go for any kind of follow-up, which is very good. And because it pops them up in that way, you can choose to go for an air conversion, or I can choose to go for something like grounded, right? I know it's going to keep them up in the air. They can't recover. This is very good. This is very good. The fact that he leaves them up like that really gives your assist a lot of time to really come in and do whatever they want. I would say this quirk skill isn't really the best for that because of the hard knockdown. This one can, you know, any of his other moves really allows for the assist to tag in at any moment. But I wouldn't suggest doing the target skill, target combo, because again, that knocks them down. Only in Rising is that a combo tool, but again, you wouldn't even be able to switch regardless in Rising. I think overall this character is going to be very strong on point. I don't think his Rising is strong enough to be an anchor character, so I think you should always put this character first. And a good example of also like opening up your opponents and doing some pretty cool things, right? Because he has this infinite, if you have a character, let's say I'm using somebody like Mirio, right? Something like this, let's say you do like a typical combo with any other character. If the character allows for you to continue the combo after, you know, you could always go into his grounded infinite. So I would say Deku really works well with assist who can bring the opponent back to the ground. And Mirio just happens to be a character who can do that in 2 different ways. He can, you know, he can either do his quirk skill 2, or he can do his target combo, and it will bring them right back down for Deku to continue his loops, which is very good. A very good character. I think that he is stronger than his OJ2 version, sorry. If I were to put him like on a tier list or something and just give my general thoughts on him, I think he would be pretty high. I mean, this character has a lot of the tools you need to be a very strong character and one's justice. I would say his biggest weakness is that his Rising is not the best. But other than that, he has combo game, he has a fast unblockable, he has an easy to hit super that really wouldn't really be falling out of combos like that. Like sometimes when you tag into a super, the super can sometimes miss, and I have not run into that issue with this Deku at all. His stuff always connects. So that's something that's pretty good for him. And again, he has very good neutral options with his dash kick attack, with his quirk skill 2, where I'm pretty sure that first attack, I don't know the frame date on it, but you guys look at that, that's very fast. Look how fast this comes out. Another cool thing I found with Deku is if you do only 2 hits of your target combo in the air, you can continue with your loops on the floor. Just pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy that he can just do 2 hits, but they have to be kind of close to the floor, I would say. But it just shows how fast that this move comes out, where he can connect an air combo into a ground combo and enable his loop. If you're still here, thank you for watching the video towards the end. Please consider hyping, liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Much love, guys. Have a good one. Your boy Storm is out. Peace.